Hey guys, Diane here, and today I'm going to be talking about three short stories by Kealan Patrick Burke. I'm just going to be kind of rating them, telling you just a little bit about each one, and just kind of taking you through whether or not you should read them. So stick around and we'll get to it. Okay, so for the first short story is Turtle Boy. I don't have a physical copy because I listened to this on Audible. But Turtle Boy is about two 11-year-old boys. They're on summer vacation and they end up going out to like this little creek in their town, and they find another kid out there. And this creek is kind of infamous for having like really large, supposedly really large turtles. Like they're the size of Buicks. There's just crazy stuff going on out there. So they find this other little kid out there, and he's kind of just, kind of lonely, being sad and stuff. So they kind of befriend him, and the story just goes from there, and it kind of turns into this really sad story. You're kind of bringing up all these other secrets that have happened in this town, and their summer just goes from bad to worse. It's really just like the worst summer of their lives. But this short story wasn't bad. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't. There was a lot of hype around this book that. I mean, I love Kealan Patrick Burke. I like his writing style, but this book, it was just okay for me. It wasn't anything that I was like super impressed with, but it was a short story, so it was, it was all right. 6 out of 10, so whatever that is. And then we have Jack and Jill, and Jack and Jill I read on the plane. I went to visit my family this summer, and I read this on the plane. So while I was reading it, there were a few parts that I was like, oh my gosh, I hope no one's reading this over my shoulder. They're gonna kick me out. Like it was, it was graphic. It was bad. I was uncomfortable. But oddly enough, it was a good story. And at the end, I was like, it was a good ending. For 75 pages, I just am like baffled at how he puts so much bite into 75 pages. It's crazy. But this is about Jack and Jill, a brother and sister. It's more about Jill, I guess, and at this point, she's a grown woman, and she's really having a rough time right now. She's married to an alcoholic. Her family life is just out of control. She's having like these really bad nightmares. She's hallucinating, and it's like the trauma from her past is haunting her now for whatever reason. So she's trying to figure out like, why is this coming up right now? So, it's just kind of delves into like what she went through, what her and her brother went through as children, and if she's just trying to figure out like, why is this haunting me now? Like, why now? But this book, I would probably give it more. Like, I would probably give this about a 7.5 out of 10. I did like this book. It was really quick. I mean, it's 75 pages, like I said, but it's a really quick read. It's really dark. It might be one of the darkest Kealan Patrick Burke. To me, it was one of even Kin. I feel like this is probably darker than Kin. And if you've read Kin, you know what I mean. So yeah, but it was good. I did enjoy it. It's nasty, but if you like that sort of thing, I would suggest you read it. And my favorite is Sour Candy. And this book I bought because the cover's cool, because I liked it. And I think this was actually my first Kealan Patrick Burke book that I read. I think I read this before I even read Kin, and Kin is one of my favorite books. And this is about a guy and his son, and his son is so bad. He's horrible. He's like throwing tantrums. All he'll eat is candy. He's crazy. Like he's just this like tiny terror of a kid. And it's like one of those kids where you're just like, I'm sorry, I feel for you. But this book takes a turn that I didn't expect. Like I said, I went in pretty blind, so I didn't really know anything about it, but I was really pleasantly surprised. There's some aspects of this book that I really, really enjoyed. So this I would probably give more of like an 8, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10, because it's so short. There's no dead time. It's just, this is probably one of my favorite short stories that I've read by anybody, but especially Kealan Patrick Burke. I'm a big fan of his. And at this point, I've read quite a few of his books. I do like his style. I like the depravity of his writing for whatever reason. But Yeah, so Sour Candy, if you like, a good short story, though, all three of those actually would probably be good. But yeah, so if you like those books, let me know. If you didn't like them, let me know. Or if you have any recommendations for, short stories similar to those, just leave it down in the comments, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.